Velkommen alle sammen. Taking my Sunday walk in the park. Sundays is where I do my kind of spiritual work. It's the days I fast and drink some mugwort and meditate and do things like that. And I'm going to share with you something today that I was thinking about, but I got to speak about one very important thing first. The spiritual discoveries that you make. You have no business expecting other people to believe those things. I can't say that something that I discovered when I meditated and expect anyone to believe it. So for example, if you think you met Odin in a meditation and he told you to do something, you can of course speak about that, but you can't expect anyone else to believe that. And even if my own mother in a dream said she saw Thor come to her and teach her the secrets of life, she has no business, no right to expect me to believe that. Those are our own spiritual discoveries, and frankly, it's a really dangerous thing if we come up with our own spiritual discoveries and we expect others to believe that. The most dangerous religions in the world, as you all know, that's exactly what they did. They took one person's secret communication that they had with God, and supposedly they expect the whole world to believe that, or else I'll kill you. And that is just a very dangerous thought process, so we cannot do that. What we can do is share ideas or share just some thought processes that we come across while meditating or while dreaming or while taking psychoactive substances, things like that. So that's what I'm going to share with you today. It's not a belief or an idea really, it's just something that came to my mind when I meditated that just kind of connected the dots together and provides some insight into our beliefs. We find a lot of burials in Scandinavia and from pagan times, but really quite a few other places around the world as well, where a stone is basically laid on the chest or on the body somewhere of a dead body, basically weighing it down. And scholars have suggested for quite some time that this was put on, like, say, witches or wicked people who were buried in the area, so as their spirit was not to come out of their body and haunt the village. And we actually have examples of this being true from the sagas, that this was done. The other theory is by Vargs. Some people hate him, some people love him, but just hear the theory. He basically said that this rock was put on the chest in order to go and take it, and that's where the life force was stored. And you would take the rock. A 7-year-old kid would go into the burial mound in Viking times and before. They'd take the rock, and that would basically enable that person to be reincarnated, the dead person to be reincarnated as the baby or the young kid who was going into the burial mound. And you know, for a few years I just thought, well, there's not really enough evidence to back that up. Everyone else thinks something different, and you know, the two theories are kind of differing. So of course I agreed with the mainstream scholars that the stone was put on the heart of a dead person to weigh it down so the spirit can't come out and haunt the village. But today, during my meditation, I won't go into details of what I saw and what happened there, but I basically made the discovery that these two are the exact same thing. They are literally the exact same. The stone is there to weigh the spirit down so it stays trapped in the body. It could be used so that if it was a witch and you didn't want that spirit to come out and haunt the village, but it could also be used to store that spirit in there until a child was ready to take that spirit, basically reincarnate. And I thought, how stupid was I to not realize this sooner? It's so simple. When a person dies, this is the belief in any pagan culture around the world, when a person dies, the soul exits the body. It takes some time, but it can exit it quick, or it can take a couple weeks even after a person dies. When the soul exits the body like that, it is gonna start looking for a new body to take the shape of, right? Now, if you're living in a small village, I spoke about that in my video on At the Stoop. You can watch that if you want. How this was possibly done, that people threw themselves off a cliff because there just wasn't that many babies being born, and they wanted to reincarnate as someone in their own village. They didn't want to die some years from now and no babies were being born around the area, so their soul basically has to migrate to other villages or even halfway around the world to be reincarnated as someone that they don't even know. Why would I want my soul to be reincarnated halfway around the world into some new body that I don't even care about? So they put the rock on the chest to trap that soul there until there was going to be a baby born to basically give a free body for this soul to migrate to. Then they take off the stone, then the soul is free to go out and basically find its way into the body of a child that's in the same family or perhaps in the same village. And it makes perfect sense, and I don't know why I thought of it before, and this is how we can also kind of even control who we get reincarnated as. Also, a couple other things that put this theory to the test. What is it that Thor's hammer was associated with? A rock, a stone. If we go back to very, very old times, it meant stone. It meant basically a whetstone. What was it that was pulled out at every marriage to bless the couple? A stone, a hammer. What was it that was pulled out at every childbirth to bless the child? A stone, a hammer. So this is another piece of evidence that helps connect the dots, that this could be the way it is. If you're dying and there's not going to be a baby born in your village for some time, say I die in a week, and I know that you know, my sister is trying to have kids, or my granddaughter is trying to have kids, and I want to come back reincarnated as my great-great-grandson or something like that. I don't want my body to die and just have my soul migrate and find some random body far away. No, I would of course prefer to be reincarnated into my own family or to someone in the village who I shared a deep connection with. And this is how you do it. You take a rock, weigh down the spirit, keep the spirit in place there so it doesn't find a new body. Then when, I don't know, when a woman is, a baby is being conceived, or after a baby is being born, I don't know, I haven't, you know, I'll have to do some more research on this, but when a baby is being conceived or born, someone goes in the burial mound, takes off the rock, my spirit goes out and finds the first body that it wants to, just like is natural, just like is the way of the universe. So yeah, I don't have the answer here. There's a lot more research that needs to be done, and I'll get on that, looking at pagan cultures from different parts of the world and looking at some of the scientific evidence. I think, like on the studies they've done about reincarnation, where they think it's a case that a dead person's body is basically 16 months on average after that person gets reincarnated. There's a great book about that by Ian Stevenson. There'll be links below to both of these books where you can read about these theories, but yeah, that's just a discovery I made. It's not a belief. It's not like someone came to me in meditation and I'm expecting you all to believe it. No, it's just kind of an idea that connects some of the dots and makes the lost beliefs of our people a little bit easier to speak about. So that's the types of things we should be trying to discover in meditation and our spiritual work, because that's the types of things that can really help out a lot of different people, instead of just forming our own spiritual belief. So hope you enjoyed. Let me know your guys' thoughts if you have any theories, and that's about it. Vi ses nästa gång.